And welcome everybody at Granth Express. Granth Express, as the name suggests, Granth stands for books and Express for expression. So we are a platform of expression. We inspire people to read books and express their experience with their favorite book. Granth Express has been hosting speakers, domain experts, storytellers, writers, and all the people who have something to share with us. And today we have Hima Praveen. I would love to introduce her. Hima is a certified leadership coach and a facilitator with over a decade. And
ऐसे पापा वाले फोन
as coach and mentor, facilitator, she has helped people unstick themselves and make significant progress, both personally and professionally. Today, she would be talking about her favorite book, that is Start With Why by Simon Sinek. So, without much delay, I would ask Hima to take over from here. Over to you, Hima.
Thank you, Kapil. Thank you, Ali, and thank you, Grant, for having me here. I think it's a wonderful opportunity to connect with you all knowledgeable people. I think it's a great platform that Grant has. I think the most amazing thing is the fact that you all logged in on a Sunday morning. It actually goes on to show that how much committed you are to your own growth. And I love working with people. I love surrounding myself with people who are like that, whether it's my clients, whether it's associates, whether business partners, individuals, organizations who are actually very, very keen to learn and grow. That's the kind of people I like to be surrounded with. And as the saying goes, you become the average of 5 people that you spend most time with. So I'm very picky and choosy about those people that I spend time, very selfish. I would love to spend time with people like you. So I think congratulate yourself for taking out time for your own growth and to be here on the platform today. Two things I'm very passionate about. I was just sharing with Ali and Kapil just before everybody logged in that I'm extremely passionate about learning. In fact, I love calling myself a student for life because I believe that everything and everyone around you has something to teach. It's just about keeping an open mind and staying tuned to that learning. And the second thing that I'm very passionate about is sharing that learning with others. And I think this passion of learning and sharing is what has taken me on this journey from 15 years of exciting corporate career to being a full-time coach and eventually starting my own company about 2.5 years back, which is in the space of learning and transformation. So I think it's this passion that I'm sharing with you today. And I'll be talking to you about this wonderful book, one of my favorites, Start With Why. Many of you might have read it. It's by Simon Sinek, one of the most viewed, most talked about, most seen orators and speakers of our times. And today what we are going to learn, I put up a few slides, so I'm just going to take you through that. What we are going to learn together is how, can you see my screen?
Yeah.
All right, great. So what we're going to learn today is how great leaders inspire others. And my commitment to you is all of those wonderful people who are here, by the end of next 30 minutes, we will have a very simple idea, but a very profound idea, a process by which we will be able to inspire other people. Are you interested? Start using the chat. Anything that you have to share, please feel free. I like to keep it very interactive. So write in whatever you want to share on the chat window. I'll keep my eye on that. So we'll be talking about how to inspire other people, everybody around us. And next 30 to 40 minutes, we'll have that with us. That's my commitment. Before we start, I would like to do a small simulation. Imagine that today is not a virtual session. What if it was a conference that was happening? All of us are down here for the conference. And you have been going around networking with people and you've been asked to introduce yourself in one sentence. So you have to make that impressive, right? So just write down in the chat, how would you introduce yourself in just one sentence in this networking or the opportunity that you've got connecting with all the people here? Go ahead. Write that down. Introduce yourself in one sentence and make that impactful. Anybody, go ahead. Write in the chat. Kapil, maybe you can start. Hey, Ahmed, okay.
Yes, Hima, I'm typing in.
Yeah. So Ahmed says, I speak to people and their life changes. Amazing. That's superb. Devesh is a globetrotter because of profession. Got lots of stories. Very interesting, Devesh. Amazing. Mr. Rao, I propel forward youth so that they feel deeper connection with life at intellectual, emotional, and spiritual levels. Amazing. These are such wonderful introductions that are coming in. Some more of you. Ali. Ali is a facilitator who likes to bring people together so that they can cross their chasms. Amazing. Wow. Sonia says, I learn from everyone around me and life has been a great teacher. That's great, Sonia. Fantastic. Couple says, with love and peace in heart and on a mission to spread the same. These are so beautiful. I think you already are so connected to your purpose. It is coming out so beautifully in the introduction. And I was about to ask you that, most of the time when we go about giving our introductions, and if we are asked that, at this point of time, you cannot possibly use any of these, your qualification, your position, the city you're from, and you have to tell the people that this is who I am. How would you introduce yourself in that case? And if you look at the chat window and you look at the way people have described themselves, it is so beautifully about their passion, about their experience. It's not about that, hey, I'm an engineer, or I'm a doctor, I'm an author, I'm a trainer, I'm a coach. If I go about saying that, hey, I'm a coach, people say there are 10,000 coaches in India. How are you different from them? And why should I speak with you? Why should people speak with you? Why should people connect with you? And when you get an opportunity like this to get on the stage and say, hey, this is who I am, you better make it interesting. You have to talk about your passion, many of you have said, or your life, or your experience. And we're going to see how we can kind of improvise on that by the end of next 30 minutes, how we can make it very, very powerful. That when you speak, when you get this small window and opportunity to speak and connect, you create that momentum amongst those people that they want to reach out to you, they want to speak with you, they want to know more of what you really do. And we're going to do that. Before we get there, I want to share with you 3 stories. And these examples are as given in the book. I'm going to take you through these examples. The first one is almost more than 100 years back. Who doesn't know about Wright brothers? Right? We've all heard about Wright brothers. They were the first set of people. They were 2 brothers who figured out control-powered manned flight. But some of us are not aware that they were not very qualified to do that. In fact, they used to work in a cycle shop. Nobody believed that they would be the first ones to take the first flight. In fact, anybody has heard about Langley, Samuel Langley? Any one of you have heard about Samuel Langley? Say Y in case you have. Say N in case you haven't. Samuel Langley, no. Yeah. A lot of us have not heard about Langley because Langley was the one who was given $50,000 of government funds to build an aeroplane. He had all the funds. He could hire the best of the people, the most qualified resources that at that point of time, but he never succeeded in building an aeroplane. And you'd be surprised that the day the Wright brothers took the first flight, Langley resigned. He did not go and say, hey, you guys have done a great job. Let me bring in my knowledge and expertise and improvise on this. He saw them as a competitor. He didn't like it. He wanted to be the first and he resigned that day. So what was it about Wright brothers who didn't have the qualification? They didn't have the funds. They had less than $1,000. But there was something which made them the first people to take the first flight. In fact, a lot of you might not know that in 1903, when they took the first flight, there was hardly anybody to witness it. Nobody saw them. Very, very few actually got to see them flying on that day. So think about it. And why not those who are more qualified? when we run organization, when we run our companies, we want to hire the most qualified people. We look at their skills and we want to hire them on the basis of that. But there was something in this situation. Let's move to the other story, which is we go to 1963. Martin Luther King. All of us have heard about the amazing, iconic speech that he gave at Washington, D.C. in 1963. He spoke about, I have a dream for America. He spoke about his dream of America, where people can live, where they would not be judged by the color of their skin, but by their character. And he spoke about this dream for which there were 250,000 people who traveled from all around, all parts, to reach Washington, D.C. and just to hear him talk about it. And there was no Facebook. There was, at that point of time, to run rallies, to run these campaigns to get people coming there, we have today. But people actually did it. They travel long distances just to hear him talk, just to hear, I have a dream, and what was that dream. But he was not the only one at that point of time, and he was not the greatest of orator at that point of time. So what made him, the Martin Luther King that we know today? What made all those people come there? Was it about him, or was it about something else? And we're going to know that. And of course, Apple, which is more closer to our times, and we can all relate to it. Most of us have Apple phones, we might have Mac computers, or we might have friends who use it. But again, think about it. Apple has access to the same talent, same media, same consultants, but Apple is more successful than any of those brands. In fact, the kind of loyalty that Apple commands defies all logic. This is the best computers. In terms of phone, also, there's so many limitations. The limitation with software, and there's so many other things, but still people just go and buy Apple. And what is the reason for that? And in fact, there was a research that was done in airport lounges. People have this habit of taking out their laptops and start working on it. Most of the laptops that are used at lounges are Apple. Do you know that? Have you ever seen somebody sticking something on top of that beautiful bitten apple? Maybe their family picture? No, nobody does that. We have phones, the normal phones, you have the cover, but nobody wants to cover the Apple. You have another cover which has the same logo. Because Apple is not just about the brand. It is something beyond the brand. It's like a symbol to the people who are loyal to the brand, an extension of who they are. It's not about the brand, it's about them. Because when they carry Apple, they are, communicating something about who they are. And if you think, I want you to think in all the three instances that we just, or the three examples, the three stories we just saw, is there a pattern? Is there a pattern in the way these three examples, the communication is happening, whether it's a brand, whether it's about people? Is there, think about it? And I would like to share, in case you can see that there is a which all these three examples are acting and communicating. And some of you are right when you think that, yes, there is a pattern. And listen to this carefully. All of these three examples, they think, they act, and communicate in exactly the same way. And it's exactly opposite to everyone else. So they think, act, and communicate in the same way, and it's opposite to everyone else. And it is not just about communication, trust me. It's not just about marketing that you do. It's about the way you think. It's about the way you act, because is it aligned to what you're communicating? If there is a misalignment in what you're communicating and the way you're acting and the way you're thinking, there is less of authenticity. A lot of people say, oh, it doesn't feel right. I cannot connect to this brand, or I cannot connect to this person because there is lack of authenticity in what they are saying, and what they are doing does not resonate with it. And there is a pattern, and this pattern is beautifully explained by the golden circle. Let's look at the golden circle here. Three set of concentric circles. The innermost circle being the why. Why talks about the purpose, the cause. The second circle, middle circle, about how, which talks about the process. And the third circle talks about the outcome, or the what. So let's understand the golden circle one layer by layer. We start with the outermost layer, which is what. The what talks about the products or the services that you are offering. Think of you as a brand. Think of, in case you have your own business, think about the products that you are taking to the market. So what talks about what is it that you're offering to others? What is your product or what is your service doing for others? What is that? The second part, the middle circle, talks about the how. How is about the USP, or the unique selling proposition that makes you better than others who are offering similar kind of products. So what is a USP? What is it that you do uniquely? What is your process? What is your framework, which is different, which makes you unique from others? So that's about how. And why. Why is not about money. You cannot say that, hey, I'm into business because I want to make a lot of revenue. It has to be beyond that. It has to talk about that why your business exists in the first place. Why does your product exist? What do you do? What is the service that you're doing? What is the purpose? What is the cause? The reason for which the organization or the person exists. The why is all about your purpose, the cause, the belief that you have with which you are bringing your product or service into the market and serving others. Now, when we look at the way ordinary people and organization functions, and most of the organization, most of the brands work in this manner, they operate from outside in. So they start from the outer circle, which is what? They will talk about what is it that they are doing, what is the product doing, what are the features of the product. Then they will talk about the USP, and very few people talk about the purpose, the why. In fact, each one of us know what we do. Every single person knows what they are doing. Some people know how they do it, but very few know why they do what they do. Very few people are, even having that clarity and then articulating and communicating it to others. Very few people are able to do that. This is how the ordinary group of brand or people would be behaving. And when you look at inspired people, what do they do differently? They communicate from inside out. Look at the arrow. They communicate from why. They start with why. Then they went to how. And then they talk about what. I want you to stay on this slide for a moment and think about it in context of your own brand. You as a person, you as a business owner, you as a professional. What is it that you do? How are you doing it? And why are you doing it? And start from inside out. Think, act, and communicate inside out. And that's what all of these three brands that we spoke about do differently. They start with their purpose, and then they work outside. Let's look at Apple as an example. Now, if Apple was an ordinary brand, how would their marketing communication would go? They would start by saying that, hey, we make great computers. They are beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. Do you want to buy one? How does that sound? Can somebody write in the chat window? How does that sound? Would you be inspired to buy the Apple computers if they were communicating like this? Say buy, and will you be inspired to buy the Apple computers in case they were communicating like this? Raman says no. Yeah. Most of us would not be, because there are so many companies which are making computers. So what's the big deal? They are saying they're beautifully designed, simple to use, user-friendly. Okay, fine. but doesn't actually inspire you to build any kind of brand loyalty. Now look at the way Apple actually communicates. Apple starts by saying that everything that we do, we believe in challenging the status quo. We believe in doing things differently. They talk about think different. We do it, status quo, is by making our products beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. We just happen to make great computers. Want to buy one? Do you see a difference in the way the communication just happened? When you started with the purpose, and then you ended up talking about what you're actually bringing to the market. And that is the reason somebody who is an Apple brand loyalist, it would not matter whether you're buying computers today, tomorrow you might be buying iPods, you're buying iPads, you're following iTunes, you're buying Mac computers. It doesn't matter what they bring onto the board, because as long as my why is resonating, I am somebody who's an innovator. I want to be different. I want to be seen as somebody who is not amongst the crowd. I want to stand out. I would buy whatever Apple does because Apple represents, it's a symbol of who I am. It's not about the brand, it's about me as a person who's buying Apple. That is the difference that it makes. And think about it. In fact, Dell was making great computers at that time as well. So Dell actually came up with DVD players, and nobody was buying it because people could not relate that why would a computer company be selling DVD players? We are not interested in it. But however, at the same time, people were going and buying all kinds of products that Apple was coming out with. In fact, they would queue up outside the shops the moment the launch happened. And they would tell their friends. In fact, I have a lot of friends who use Apple computers and they use iPhone. And I asked them that, hey, tell me, why is it better than any other ordinary? I carry an ordinary, I don't carry an Apple phone. Convince me. Trust me, they don't have a reason. They don't have a logical reason. They will give you reasons like, hey, the touch is great. But I say, even Samsung has, I don't know, it feels good. And they say some crazy things like saying once an apple, always an apple. I don't know what that means. Have you heard about that? Once an apple, always an apple. I would say that, hey, then I don't want to be there. I don't want to be, stuck with one brand so much. So let me not get into it. So there are no logical reasons why people do what they do, but they just feel that they are loyal to the brand and they need to use the latest iPhones at crazy prices. They charge a premium for the same amount of services. In fact, there are less of software, there are less of, you can't find a replacement so quickly, but still people do that. And to explain this, Simon explains in the book that it has relation, or you can see that happening, inside your brain. So if you look at the way the brain is structured, the outermost part is called the neocortex. It is the rational or the thinking brain. This is where all our logical decisions are made. It is the most evolved part of the brain. And if you look at the inside part of the brain is where the limbic brain is. So the limbic brain is where you process emotions, you process feelings. Now, part of the brain that controls decision making is controlled by the limbic part of the brain. You take decisions based on feelings. That people, use term feel right, or I feel that this is nice. I feel like I want to brand and not any other brand. But I feel like following Simon, not say a Tony Robbins, because of feeling or emotions are connecting with one individual or one brand more than others. But however, the challenge is that this brain does control language, does not support language. So it is very difficult for me to explain logically, rationally why they are doing, but they still follow it. So the decision happens from the inside out. That's why all of our communication, all of the brands which you wear, or when you speak and you go about your introduction, you have to start from why to outside, because then you're connecting with that part of the brain which controls decision, and then you're giving them logic or facts and reason why they should support your brand or why they should take your service. So this is how you can see that the way the golden circle operates, you can find the analogy in the brain and the way the brain functions. Now, taking this learning of golden circle to leadership, who according to you is a leader? There are people that we follow, we work in organizations where we call, I want you to write down and share with them here, what are the 3 elements or 3 characteristics of a leader according to you? What are the characteristics of a leader? Who is a leader? Anybody wants to answer that question? There's no right and wrong. Go ahead, share. Who is a leader? Okay, leader is the one who, right? Absolutely. A leader is someone who commands, wonderful, inspires, bang on. So you identify a leader by a simple fact. So it's not about their position, it's not their designation. The simple fact that whether they have followers. If a leader, if nobody is following me, maybe I sit in my office as CEO, or maybe I'm the head of the department, a business head, but you're just a functional head. Till the time you have. So the most important, if somebody is a leader, having followers. And the second thing, after that, like some of you have mentioned, is a leader needs to have a vision. A leader needs to have a compelling vision, and he or she must be able to communicate that vision, articulate and communicate that vision to others. So first is you need to have clarity of what you believe in, and you share that vision with those around you. And people who have a similar kind of vision or who are aligned with you will follow you. So you need to have a vision and you need to communicate that vision. Even if you're in business, if you are an organization, for people to be aligned to your organization, every employee of your organization, you need to communicate that vision to other people. And they need to feel that, yes, that vision is inspiring them to come to work every day and contribute at their highest level. And there is a beautiful thing that happens when you're surrounded by people who believe what you believe. There is common belief and common understanding, common values. There is alignment to vision. Something beautiful emerges, that is trust. And trust is a feeling. Trust is again a feeling. You feel like trusting somebody, not because somebody might be very highly qualified, but you don't trust them. You trust people because you feel that whatever they are saying, you are connected, you have common set of values and beliefs, you are aligned to the vision, you trust those people. So for you to be a leader, you need to have followers, you need to have vision, you need to invoke that kind of trust amongst the people who follow you. And when you look at the golden circle in context of leadership, you have to again operate from inside. I'll give you an example. I was in the there was a sales team, and the leader would call everybody morning huddle. Like some of you have been organizing called a morning huddle. So the leader will call everybody into their space, and then they start talking about, hey, you do this, you talk to that customer, you follow up on this, you do this, you do that, and then everybody will leave. Now somebody might ask that, okay, I'm stuck here, how do I do it? Then the leader is like, hey, you've been hired for this job, you go and figure out, but I want this to be done. In the huddle for this leader, the whole of discussion was what has to be accomplished in that day. Talk spoke about why we are doing it, and when people ask, hey, why are we doing this in the first place? And of course, that team was not faring well. On the other hand, there was another team where the manager would again reiterate the fact that why are they doing this? And what? Something beautiful emerged in those meetings. What was that? People were using their brains to think outside the box and come up with different ways in order to achieve that. So since the vision was clear, everybody will think, create, innovate, and come up with ideas on how that can be achieved. So this team was more creative, more innovative, more involved, more engaged. And think about it, today, every time you get to hear managers saying that, hey, this generation can't be motivated. They don't get motivated. See, maybe you don't have to motivate them, you have to inspire them. You have to tell them why, and this generation in particular wants to know why are they doing what they are doing. And you need to communicate that, which of course means the leader must have a clarity of why in the first place. You cannot have a fuzzy why and communicate that. You need to have clarity of what the why is and then communicate that. People will figure out how it can be achieved. And that's what would happen in case the leaders start operating from the why. And the second team was, of course, more successful. They were doing a fantastic job because they were self-motivated. They were on autopilot. They would be running around doing things and making everything, which is required. They would be doing everything to make it happen. And for me, the leadership is all about vision. It's about the vision, the purpose with which you operate and how you communicate that, through which you invoke passion in your followers, in the people who follow you or work with you. You invoke that passion within them through your vision and how you communicate that, and you inspire them, you bring them together, they get inspired, and then they would be doing anything possible. They would be resilient to make sure that the goal is achieved. And that is what leadership is all about. It is about building more leaders. Because when you operate from that, you operate from your why, you create more leaders. You don't create followers, you create more leaders. And you will find that every time you have a great leader, whether it is politics, whether it's an organization, you'll always find they're surrounded by other leaders who have their own tribes. They're all building their tribes. And how are they doing it? Because they are communicating their passion, they're communicating their vision, and they're inspiring those around them. And we need leaders like that. That's the kind of leadership that you would expect. In times like now, think about it. This is the kind of leadership that we need, because we're going through tough time. People are not getting paid. People, there is a lot of emotional trauma, stress on the personal and professional front. We want leaders who can keep people going, build the resilience, invoke the passion in them by communicating that why are we doing this in the first place. And that's the kind of organization, that's the kind of teams, that's the kind of leadership that will succeed. If you look at this quote, it's a beautiful quote about leadership. Leaders hold a position of power or authority, but those who lead inspire us. And we follow them not because we have to, but because we want to. There is a difference between a leader and those who lead. Because those who lead, we want to follow them. We want to follow them. We are not being forced to, but we actually want to do that, not because for them, probably for ourselves. Because they stand up for something that we believe in. And that can only come when we are able to communicate our purpose. Now is the time for us to write down our golden circle statement. I want all of you to look at this and answer these three questions. Take a few minutes and answer these three questions. The first question is your why. What is your cause? What is it that you believe in? So answer that. Whatever notepad on your computers, wherever you can write, so just answer that. What is your why? What is your cause? What do you believe in? Take a moment to answer that. If you like to share on the chat, you're welcome to do that. But if you don't want to share, that's also fine. Once you've written your why, think about your how. What is your USP? What is your process? What is that is unique about you? What makes you stand out from the rest of the crowd? But also doing what you're doing. What is that USP? What is that unique process? And then you write the what, which is the easiest. That what do you do? What is the product or service? See, what is most important here is your why should be very clear. There has to be a clarity in your why. Probably this is the first time maybe you are actually articulating it, you're writing it down. I want you to do that. Take this opportunity to do that. Articulate the why of your business, of your work, of what you offer, of who you are. And then go to your how, and then you go to your what you offer. How is about, you have to follow a discipline. If you follow a certain, you have certain values, you have a USP. Everything that you do has to be aligned to your why. And same goes for your what. So whatever you're doing, say for example, I'm coaching, I'm training, I'm doing workshop, it has to be aligned to my why. And if there is something that is not aligned, maybe I should not do it. So what is about, you have to be consistent with your what. You have to be consistent of what is it that you are doing. Is it aligned with my vision? Is it aligned to my purpose? To give you an example again about Apple, when Steve Jobs joined back Apple in 1993, a lot of you might be aware that he actually took out a lot of products from the product line. He said, we don't need all of this. We will just stick to these products. Because he saw immediately that there is misalignment from our vision, what we want to do, and what is it that we are actually giving to the market. So we want that to be aligned. So what is about being consistent to your why? Everything that you do, everything that you say, the way you come across, the way you communicate has to be aligned to your purpose. How many of you have written it? Can you just tell me on the chat that yes, you've written it? If you want to share, you can share it. Right. Mr. Raman has shared, think, feel, say, listen, understand, let others say, and through phones, computers, and writing. Okay. Nam is saying that I do it with service based on theory and methods, and SL and support telemetry products. Great. Right. So I believe a lot of you have done that, right? And I think it is a great exercise to look at, to complete that for yourself. Then how would you go about it? And what you see, and as explained in the book, there's a beautiful quote by Simon Sinek again, where he says that people don't buy what you do, people buy why you do it. So people don't buy what you do, people buy why you do it, and what you do is just a proof of what you believe. So whatever you're doing is a proof of what you believe in. They are believing, they are buying into the why of it. That's why you can sell a whole lot of products if people believe in what you're doing. It doesn't matter what you bring onto the table. You might be doing this, you might be doing something else tomorrow. As long as that's all aligned to your purpose, your tribe, your loyals will stick around with you. So people buy what you do. People don't buy what you do. People buy why you do it. Remember that. I think that's one thing that if you keep repeating, you would all never get it wrong. You would always be aligned to your why. I think it's most of it what I have to share, but I can't move out of the presentation without telling you that what is my golden circle looking like. So I would love to share with you what is my why, how, and what. So to begin with, I'd like to say that I believe that every individual and every organization have something unique, something very, very special about them, which is their innate strength or innate excellence, which when identified, ignited, and unleashed, can really help them achieve whatever they want to achieve. That can give them a lot of success. And how I do that is by helping them build clarity around their strengths, helping them build clarity about their purpose, and then creating a process and holding them accountable to make sure that they're following that process. And what I do is I do a lot of things. So I do speaking, I do writing, I do coaching, I coach leaders, I coach professionals, I take workshop trainings. So all of them becomes an expression of my purpose. And my purpose is to help people live their purpose. My purpose is to help people live their purpose, and the underlying thing is live. There's a difference between living the purpose and knowing the purpose. Knowing the purpose is not enough. Once you know the purpose, you have to help them live that purpose, and that you do every day, every single day, in the way you do your work, in the way you show up, the way you connect with others, the way you communicate. Everything communicates your purpose. So I help people live their purpose. And that is the why with which I operate. So that's about the whole concept behind it. There's a lot of work that goes in building clarity. Some of you might be thinking that, okay, how do I get clarity about my purpose? And yes, that's more of a detailed work, which of course I do in my coaching sessions or workshops. But it doesn't happen in a short, because of the constraint of time, we'll not go into the details. But once you know the why, you get clarity of it, you can build a process, a uniqueness around it, and then do your work accordingly. So that's how the whole thing goes. All right, so that's it from me. Any questions that you have, you can take that up right now. Let me look at the chat. Any questions? Or any thoughts that you would like to share?
This is Hima. Raman here.
Hi, Raman. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a brilliant presentation, Hima.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for this.
Thanks for joining.
Thanks for this. Yeah. It's a pleasure. It's always a pleasure. It's just that I needed to put some things away from what I am particularly right now. But then I'm just going through a phase where if I can share what I'm trying to say. You were talking of the vision, then passion, inspiration, and purpose, right? So I'm going the other way around, saying with the pandemic that's prevailing right now, it's making everybody think afresh. And there is no way we can hang on to what happened in the past and try to look for solutions, because nobody in the world has any solution to what we are facing right now. So all that I'm saying is have clarity of thought, saying first, I wish I would be able to send the same message across to people. Nothing is going to happen if you are able to take care of yourself. So the clarity is, we're all going to survive. We've got to change, and change every day, every moment, and create new history. So I think it's very relevant that we again start redefining why are we here. I think the why is very clear. We need to survive and get into the future.
That's right. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that, Mr. Raman. Any questions anybody has? You can put in the chat, or you can unmute yourself and share that.
Alexa, stop.
Hima, during this tough time, when we talked about vision, when we talked about mission, most of the people feel like drifting away from why they started, and they look forward for another solutions. Would you put some light on this? What would be your recommendation, or what should be the mindset during these tough times?
Right. I think it's a great question, Kapil. First of all, thanks for asking that. Yes, when times get tough, yes, there is a possibility that you might want to look at other things than that, from what you were doing. But again, see, you might be offering your service or whatever you're doing could be different from what you're doing now, but it can't be different from your purpose or vision. So I'll give you an example. Say, for example, I do, like I shared with you, my purpose in life to help people live their purpose. Now, earlier, I would be doing that through face-to-face sessions. I would be getting more opportunities to do workshops where I can actually meet them physically, which is way better. We connect better. We have more better people-to-people interaction. But how I can't do that now? So either, the question is, do I stop my work or do I do something else? So what I do now is, like a lot of us are doing, we do a lot of virtual interactions. In fact, my company is coming up with a service which talks, which brings in a lot of virtual live experience to organization. And we've been able to build that or we've been able to think about it is of the challenge right now because of the pandemic. But the vision is the same. The vision has not changed. But the way you are delivering it can be different. So you become more creative, I believe, when something like this happens. You become more creative, to become more innovative, and come up with these different ways how you can do them. But you can't be misaligned to your vision. Because if you do that, it would not be long-lasting. It is temporary. You can do some switch, you do that temporarily, right? In the long term, in order to come across as somebody who is very passionate, somebody who is more authentic, you have to be connected to your vision. And that's all the successful organizations, if you look at, they have been aligned to the same vision right from the day one, or gradually they figured it out, but they've been aligned, but what happens in organization over a period of time. So when you're a startup, the vision is clear. And you have a very powerful vision. Everybody in the organization knows that. I was a part of a startup, very passionate startup, and we did amazingly well. But another 5 years, 6 years down the line, when more people joined, the management changed, the founder became chairman, and there was a CEO who came in, the vision started getting a little fuzzy. And people used to, people like me who were there right from the beginning used to say that it doesn't feel the same. Something has changed. It's not the same. Because earlier we used to work as if this is our organization. We have to do everything possible to make it successful. But now it was a job. So you go and work there morning to evening and you come back. So it became a job. So that is the difference that happens, when you are not aligned to it. It becomes a job. You say you can motivate people by giving them more salary. You can give them perks. You can give them incentives, but you cannot inspire people. That's short term. In order to inspire people, you need to know why they do. Why are they doing this job? And then align it to the organization's vision. Align it to your vision. And that's when you kind of put those people in autopilot and then you do everything possible. It's not about salary then. And that's the kind of people you want. Hope that answers the question, Kapil.
Yes, exactly. It answers, and at the same time, gives rise to one more question, that I would be asking on behalf of everybody.
Yeah.
Most of the time we say that leader must inspire people, leader must encourage people. Communication is one of the way that he can do that by being in touch with everybody. But what do you feel are other qualities so that people feel one with the vision that as a leader he or she is looking at? What?
So if I got your question right, what you're saying is, how can a leader ensure that everybody is one with the vision that they have? Is that the question?
Yeah,
All right. And you're saying communication is one way to do that. What are the other ways to do it?
true.
Right? Okay, great. See, multiple ways in which you can do that. See, one is, as an organization, you can articulate your vision and make sure that everything that you do, whether you talk about your values, your mission, your short-term goals, everything is connected to the bigger vision that you have. So that on a daily basis, every task, every behavior, everything on which you rate people, the KRAs, the KPIs, everything are aligned to the vision so that people are keep remembering. Say, for example, if I'm an organization, I say I value learning. But when I evaluate people, I evaluate them on the basis of their numbers. Where am I valuing learning? I'm not. So if I have to evaluate my people and I say that as an organization, I value learning and knowledge, I need to have in their KRA that how many hours did you spend learning? Did you take your time off every week that we have where you have to invest in your, or did you do a course or program? That also goes part of your, becomes part of your KRA or KPIs or whatever. So it is about behaviors. It's about action that you take on everyday basis that matters. Communication is a part of it. Like you said, it's the way you think, it's the way you act, it's the way you communicate. Everything has to be synchronized. It has to be consistent. It should not communicate something which is not aligned to what you are saying. See, saying and doing are two different things. They have to be aligned. So you might be saying something, but at the same time, you're doing something else. See, it happens as parents, isn't it? We are all leaders at our home. If I'm telling my kids something and I'm saying that, hey, use less of computers and internet, and I myself am glued into my phone the whole day, doesn't work. They don't get inspired. But if they see that, okay, I say that you have to learn and I'm also reading a book while you're going to classes, they say, okay, that makes sense. Right? So at every sphere of our life, as parents, as colleagues, as I have to act as a leader by being aligned to what we talked about. Devesh is saying that there was a case study about why people really join Indian Army, even when the salary is not very high. Yeah, that's a great example. I think people join defense not because of the salary. Nobody asks, what will I get? And think about a corporate job, that's the first question. What is the salary? But when you go to serve your country, nobody asks, talks about the salary. That's the last thing. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I want to work for my country. That's what matters. Beautiful example. Thank you.
Hi, Hima.
Hima.
Oh,
Yeah.
All right. Do you want to go? Or
no,
you just play?
go ahead. Go ahead. Okay, I will go. Hima.
Yeah, Mr. Rao.
In fact, when I have gone through this process of why through these Simons, in fact, not only I discovered that it is my why. The moment I could give the words to my why, I also started understanding the why of people around me. And that improved a great relationship with others. Because maybe what I am doing with my why and my friend is also doing with his why, and those are not matching. And the moment I understood my friend's why, he did not verbalize it, but my limbic brain could feel it. Oh, he's doing for that purpose. So never there was any contradiction for last few months. That is a really wonderful thing, to be in a good relation, to have a great mission, and untiredlessly doing your why. You never get tired. It is an effortless process once you know your why. And
Thank you so much. Thanks for sharing that.
Hima, I really admire. You are very, very crystal clear. You have brought out the philosophy of why and Simon Sinek. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. I think great example there. I think you brought a beautiful perspective that once I know my why, I'm able to better connect with the why of other people. I'm able to understand that better, and that builds beautiful relationship. Like that's amazing. Great example, Mr. Rao. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Can I say something?
Yes, no.
Thank you. I want to speak about the business implementation of these ideas. And what I found when I tried to insert this language into my business was the first one I was impressed by it was my accreditation agent. The guys who do the ISO accreditation. If you're familiar, obviously you are familiar with that. And when I engage with them, the more material I got from them was about the learning organization. It's fifth discipline of Peter Sanji. Read all the book and everybody met everybody of the conscious capitalism. Also come with a playbook with the implementation, business implementation system. And as soon as I wrote it down as a management structure for a business, to measure and remeasure, to make progress and make sure you measure your success with these values and not with the metric you are used to. We managed to make quantum leaps in the results with customers and competition. We came to help with them. It was very awkward scenarios, to everybody, but it was very inspiring. It was very exciting. Everybody got very emotional.
That's amazing.
I mean, yes. So what I want to add, what I want to contribute, if I'm here to give, try implementing those in the infrastructure of learning, of the learning organization, and with baby steps. And it's evolutionary, healthy business. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
That's right. Thank you so much for sharing the practical implementation of the same. You've seen that happening. I think it makes a whole lot of difference. And it makes, I think it makes sense for organizations to keep revisiting their why once in a while, because you tend to lose that over a period of time. So the management, I think the top leadership particularly need to get together once in a while and then just figure out, like, are they heading in the right direction? Are they still connected to the why? Or, relook at the offerings that they have, the products and services. Are they still aligned with where you started? And the same goes true for individuals. I think the work that we do, we have to keep going back to the drawing board and keep looking at that. Are we still aligned to what we started with? That makes a whole lot of difference in our success. Thank you.
Hima, we have one question from Sonai Gupta in chat box. Right.
Sonia, I understand we need to be focused on vision, but if we are not open-minded and align ourselves and evolve our vision and mission with time, are we not restricting our growth? Am I missing something? Yeah, great question, Sonia. So Sonia is saying that, we need to be focused on the vision, but at the same time, we need to be agile, we need to be flexible. I think that's what she wants to say, that as we go along in our journey, and we need to keep reinventing or probably redefining the vision. I think that is true, that's something, but you would always find that it is not completely different from where you started. See, because it's something, when you talk about your vision, your why, your purpose, a lot of time people come back and say that I'm not very clear on what I want to do, but you always start with your passion. So when I do work in terms of building the clarity of vision, we start with what you're passionate about. What are the things that resonate with you? Who are the kind of people that you follow? What are those things that strikes you, that inspires you? Start with there. And then you try to define your vision. It is okay if as you go along, you figure out that, yeah, there is something more to it. You add to it, you add elements to it, you redefine it, you re-verbalize it. But yeah, it will not be very, very different from where you started, is what has been my experience. But yeah, let it evolve with time. There's nothing wrong with that. I hope I answer your question, Sonia. Okay, Anita is asking, sometimes we have more visions than we can handle. How do you choose the best one? There may be more passions. What do you do? Hey, Anita, thanks for asking and thanks for joining today. Like I said, it's more of it's a very detailed work when we talk about building the clarity around why. And there is a process that we follow when I work with my clients, where we figure that out, we help the client figure that out. So it's more detailed work, beyond the scope of the discussion today. But however, see, your passions are like indicators. They indicate that where your purpose is. So when I started, my passion was and still is to learn and share. And eventually, as I continue to do that, I could figure out that, yes, why am I doing it in the first place? Why do I want to learn and share? Because I want others to succeed. I want them to be more successful in what they do. And that's where my vision started getting more and more clear. So it is okay. You just get started. Don't worry. Don't get too hassled up about having the most clarity in your vision. Just start with your passion. Just note it down and start doing more of it. And as you do more of it, you would be able to figure out that what your vision is and where are you heading, in which direction, and get more clarity of that. So it's a journey. Don't worry about it. Just enjoy the journey. Just keep moving in that direction. So your passion are your indicators. So just follow that.
Mrs. Hima, if I could for a moment talk about it. Hello?
Yeah, Mr. Raman.
Hello. Yeah. When people talk about vision and mission and things like that, I go to Disney when he said about 100+ years ago, entertainment for all. I think that stands even today, despite the fact that it has been changing hands ever so many times. And let's not go too far to the Disney. Even the Tatas, they said we make men of steel. I think that vision still stands despite the number of leadership changes. So we need to buy into a belief which is connected with some values. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for sharing that, Mr. Raman.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, in fact, Simon Sinek in his next book, that is The Infinite Games, he also talks
Infinite
about
Games.
the Infinite Games. He even talks about that how the vision should be or how the mission should be. He gives 5 different qualities like the just cause, how the just cause looks like, means that's inclusive, that where people feel to contribute to your vision and the just cause. Then, as we talked about, the contribution towards the each and every member, that the first share of your profit, your time, your energy should go to your own people.
Choice. Yeah.
About the resiliency, standing the tough times. So this is something that's way beyond the passion. Passion may have a deadline, but your just cause will not have a deadline, right?
That's right. Thank you, Kapil.
Yes, yes,
It's a beautiful book, Infinite Games.
yes. So yes, if we have any more questions, we can take it on. So meanwhile, I would request Ali sir to talk about his experience today. So you're on mute.
More than my experience, I would like to welcome Dr. Munish Jindal and team MentorX, who also are aligned with our mission. They come in from Ludhiana, and Dr. Munish brings in so much energy to this platform and to every single individual he connects with. Yes, Dr. Jindal,
Thank
your words.
Warm, sunny Sunday morning, and oh, wonderful. Granth Express, kudos to you for such a wonderful session. Oliver, sir, Kapil, sir, and Shilpa Bhende, ma'am. Wonderful. Wow. When Hima Praveen, ma'am, was speaking, I was just wondering how could someone sum up my life in a span of 40 minutes, 40 odd minutes. And she's been talking all about the vision, the mission, and how you carry your passions. That is what I've been provocating, that follow your passions whole of your life. Your passion is what is going to keep you moving. Right now, it's been close to 54 hours I'm awake, and it's been my passion that's fueling me. And yes, as Oliver sir said, that we together, MentorX and Granth Express, we together, we're one, we're aligned. That is again when we saw the synchronization in the vision, that where Granth Express and MentorX, they both are aligned towards the bigger purpose, same purpose, and they've been together. And wow, kudos to you, Hima Praveen, ma'am. How beautifully, how simply, and what a wonderful, simple layman's language. I always appreciate the speakers who they use the simple language, not the jargons, because that is what people love about the people. Then they connect with you. And Meraqi, wow, that's when you do something with your love and when you embed your soul into it. Kudos for the name you carry, for the company, the brand you represent for yourself, and how beautifully you're building it with your passion. Everything's about passion. I usually ask people a quick exercise always, that if you don't find a purpose in your life, close your eyes, imagine all your bills are being paid off, you have a nice lavish house, you have a chartered plane at your discretion, you have all the Ferraris, Lamborghinis for you, and now tell me what profession you will choose. What do you want to do in life? Then someone comes up, oh, I want to be a DJ, I want to do art, or I want to sell books. Or a person like me, I'm a commerce graduate, but I make robots. So that is your passion. So when you get into it, if you want to do art, or you want to sell books, or you want to be a DJing, you will never ever feel bored of your work, and you will always really want to. I mean, even if it's like 54 hours for me right now working, still I don't feel like working. Still I'm like dressed up and sitting here and loving it. Loving when you were speaking, Hima ma'am, every word was honestly, every word was like you're serving a diamond to me. Each and every word that came out of you, I could correlate And I was just wondering how you have completed the circle of life so beautifully, so wonderfully. That is life is about. If we are fulfilling our passions with the vision and the mission we carry, and we always have bigger purposes. And the one thing I really want to mention here, when you said that it's not what you do, why you do it. That is really important. When I still remember in 2015, I started this Autobots, mobility robots, and hoverboards in India. People said there's no market for it. We don't need it in India, or India doesn't have that kind of roads that people use segways or hoverboards here. So it won't be successful. I started my company that in 2015 with 35,000 rupees. And today it's a multi-million-dollar company. We're number one in India, and we are among top 5 in the world. It was, again, the thing you said, why? People loved it. Why this guy is doing it? Why? Because we are trying to bring the sustainable environment in India. We want to give the better environment to the upcoming generations. And there was so much of passion, so much of love with that. Again, I would say it was the Meraqi effect in that. So people started loving it. Now everyone is so much in love with them that during the pandemic, we are clocking the highest revenues ever possible. So that is always I would always along with like to mention that there is always an opportunity in every challenge. It's up to you how you flip the coin, which side of the coin you're seeing, or how you see the painting. Someone got gifted with a painting, and they unwrapped it from the back side, and they were wondering, oh, what's wrong with Mr. Jindal? He gave me a brown cardboard paper. And when they flipped it over, it was a beautiful painting over. So it's up to you how you visualize a challenge. Is it a challenge or an opportunity? I don't know. I see opportunity everywhere. So it's wonderful. Kudos to you with both. I really want to clap for you, Hima ma'am. And I would really want everyone to clap for Hima Praveen ma'am. Trust me, I have personally been keynote speaker in more than 1,000 keynotes I've delivered. I have more than attended 2,000 summits. I have never come across a person like Hima Praveen ma'am, who could be so beautifully sum up your visions, missions, and passions in such a wonderful, concrete 40 odd minutes. And there you go, this wonderful woman speaking about passion, vision, mission. Wow, kudos. You can, Hima Praveen ma'am, you have the power that you can build up leaders in a span of 30 minutes only. When people were talking about qualities, that is what you are. That is what you are. You create leaders in a half an hour. And if I will say that I know a woman who can create leaders in half an hour, they would be wondering, we really want to meet that woman. Wow, kudos to you.
Thank you, Dr. Manish. You've been very kind. Thank you for the kind words.
It's a pleasure for me. It's indeed the love of Aliavar sir and Kapil sir and Shilpa ma'am. They get me, they wake me up every Sunday morning, and they want me here. They love me so much, all three of them. And we are indeed blessed and privileged that when we talk about vision and mission, it's not necessary that our visions, our passion, or our mission align with others. And here, these three wonderful dynamic human beings whose vision and whose mission aligns with us, and we are together, and we are no different. MentorX and Granth Express, they are one together, and we are aligned for a bigger purpose, whereby we are targeting 8 billion people, that we have to touch the lives of all the entire 8 billion by 2022. So yes, we know we are on a very short span of time, but yes, with the able leadership of Aliavar sir and Kapil sir and Shilpa ma'am and the wonderful people like you, yes, kudos. And I can see Noam, Avobach sir, Raman sir, and many more here, Sonia Gupta ma'am and Kamal Gupta. So all of us together, we are going to make this bigger purpose true. And thank you for being such a wonderful leader in yourself. Hima ma'am, very few people realize this, and very few people have this vocal power that just by speaking, you create the leaders. So thank you. Thank you. Kudos to you. With my folded hands, I express my gratitude for such a wonderful session for Granth Express and MentorX. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Doctor. Thank you. I just wish that I could have at least 10% of whatever you could speak, the power of speaking.
So we shall be taking coaching lessons from Hima Praveen ma'am, Aliavar sir. We shall, and I think she would be kind enough to impart us one-to-one lessons.
Absolutely, it would be a pleasure. Thank you.
Wow, wonderful.
I'll also take this opportunity to welcome Mahesh. Mahesh is CEO of Magic Incubation Center at Aurangabad, which is a government-sponsored incubation center supported by CMIA, which is an industry body at Aurangabad, you know, is an automobile hub. So Mahesh, can you just say hi to everyone over here? Good
Hello,
morning.
sir. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Good morning, all.
How come Mahesh sir is a big boss?
Sorry, it is.
Or how come you are the Mr. India? Why we cannot see the big boss?
Sir, I'm somewhere in a market.
Then no problem, sir.
I still am just trying to listen to ma'am, but I was a bit late. I'm very sorry, but yeah, I think I can refer recordings anyway. I mean, like Ali sir, I
Yes,
request
sir.
you to share the recordings. I missed the
They
first
are
part of
available
it.
on Facebook, sir, and we'll definitely share
Oh,
the
that is
recording
great.
with you, sir.
Great, great. That is
Yes,
great.
sir.
Thank you very much. Yes, sir.
Yes, over to you, Shilpa, for your conclusions.
Yes, first of all, a very good morning, everyone. Hima ji, this was a very power-packed session. And in fact, I think for me also, the why right now, this got me thinking. I did have why in my mind, but then this has brought a lot more clarity, maybe to find a broader why for what I'm doing right now. So thank you so much for being here, for gracing Granth Express platform. Thank you so much, Dr. Munish Jindal ji. Basically, he's a very, very busy man. He has more than 5 sessions, and as we have heard from him, he hasn't slept for last 54 hours. I think he should catch some sleep. Thank you so much, Noam. Thank you so much, Raman ji, and all the participants who have been here on this pleasant Sunday morning to attend Hima ji's session. Thank you so much, everyone. Over to you, Ali Awarji.
Hima, thank you so much for bringing this session to us. And Kapil, thank you so much for bringing in Hima ji over here. Whatever we do, we always think, ye nahi chala to wo kar lenge, wo nahi chala to ye kar lenge, and we are always propelled by the circumstances that we are in. But this definitely the purpose of our existence, if we can say. If we can just put it down in nutshell, and we can just present it to anyone and everyone on this planet, I think we'll have a better understanding, better working culture, better families. Our existence by itself will become more fruitful, and more purposeful.
Finally.
And thank you, Himaji. As Munish,
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you. It's a pleasure. It's been a great session.
Finally,
Dr. Munish says that you have the power of creating leaders in 30 minutes. I think we should just put this up as a tag and register this thing. 30 minutes
Finally,
leader.
can I just say
Yes,
one thing? I'm Raman.
Yes,
Ramanji.
I often wonder who created the forest. It's just not possible by humans. If nature has intervened, which is what I believe it is, it was done by squirrels, and that took a nut from here, dropped it there, took a nut from there, and things like that. Just the forgetfulness, but the strength of the nut that held to the ground today became a forest. So we are nuts. Let's go and plant, and let's create more leaders. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Lovely, sir. Lovely. Well said, sir. Kapil, final conclusion. Before that, I would like to invite Himaji to say something, final conclusions today.
No, thank you so much. I'm being so humble with the messages that you all have been giving me. I think I'm so glad that we could do something very meaningful on a Sunday morning. You all have logged in. So I'm glad that it was meaningful. You enjoyed the session, and please feel free to reach out to me. I'm there on LinkedIn. I'm quite active there. So it would be a pleasure to connect with you, to know you more. And if I can play a role, support you in any way, I'll be most happy to do that. And thank you so much once again for being patient, for being so interactive. I really enjoyed being here. And thank you, Granth, once again, for giving the opportunity. Shilpa, Mr. Ali, and of course, Kapil, thank you so much. And have a wonderful day ahead.
Yes, Kapil, final words from you.
Yes, thank you so much, everybody, for a wonderful participation, active participation from all of you. And that is really an encouragement for Granth Express to continue with its mission, vision, and purpose ahead. And next week, the announcement for the next week is that we have another speaker who is leadership expert, a communication coach, Aisha Kuwaitli. She's from Dubai, and she would be talking about her favorite book, which is again related to the best of the communication that leaders can have. So how to improvise your communication as a leader. So we would be giving the details to you over the email. Since we have got your registrations, we would be forwarding you, and we really look forward to see you soon next Sunday. So till that time, just contemplate upon your why, what you are doing, why you are doing, and be in the aura of start with why. Till then, have a great Sunday, have a great week ahead.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you,
Kapilji,
Kapil.
I really want to congratulate you, Kapil.